Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is suspicious shopkeeper Dan Ryan.
I'm still eating. Oh, it's so shocking.
Fucking deal with it. As January comes to a close, so must we bring you the 10, 20, 30, 40. What important games came out this month and decades past? Beware of the biological weapon Lucifer Alpha, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now. Specific enough for you? Hi, everyone. This is episode 552. It's the week of February 7th, 2025, and welcome. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the hell else is going on in our lives. Speaking of which, what the hell is going on, Dan?
Nothing. It's fine. Everything's great. There's no problems. I'm eating dinner at 8:26, which is a normal time to eat dinner when you get home from work at 3:30.
Starting recording in about an hour later, an hour and a half, close to an hour and a half later than usual. So it's just a usual Friday. Just
a regular Friday, moving furniture in the cold rain.
Why are we moving furniture in the? What are you moving in the rain, and why does it have to happen tonight?
Well, my mother-in-law now lives around the corner from me, and she is moving into the apartment tomorrow. And in order to get the furniture delivered, they couldn't deliver it on Saturday, on the day that she's moving in. It was they either had to deliver it. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to eat and do all this at the same time. And I'm burping. It's a very unprofessional show right now. They either had to deliver it next weekend, which means she would be in an apartment with no furniture for a week, or, and this is the cool one, they had to deliver it last Friday to my house so that it sat in my living room like her apartment furniture was in my living room for a week. And then when I got home from work today, it was like, yeah, I'll just go to Home Depot, I'll rent a truck real quick, and then I'll take all this fucking Bob's discount furniture stuff over to Nana's apartment. I got the kids with me. They're 15. It'll be fine. Fucking spoiler alert. It wasn't. Because, not to beat a dead horse, but as I mentioned before we started, in case anybody's missed it, if this is your first time listening, it's, 6 to 7 months of poisoning myself every other week has left me a lot weaker than I used to be. So, it didn't go well, as one would imagine. And then Tiff came home, and that didn't help. Really. Where I'll just leave it there. It was not a great night. But I didn't get an infusion today, Kris, because I'm done with that. And that is a step in the right fucking direction, I gotta be honest with you.
You got an infusion of hot furniture moving.
Oh, God, it was so sexy. Just all of this furniture. At least it's out of my living room.
How come? I mean, not to play armchair quarterback here, but why wouldn't you? Why was it more difficult? So the option was to have her be at that apartment, but with no furniture for a week.
Mm-hmm.
So would it have been easier to have her stay at your house for a week until the furniture showed up?
God, no.
Oh, okay.
There's nowhere for her.
She could brush a couple of dogs aside, right?
Nana, quick, get in the fucking crawl space with the dog. We'll put some extra beds down and some blankies. It's fine. Make a nice little pallet on the floor. Shut up. Get in.
I've got some pee pads around here somewhere. You don't even have to go to the bathroom.
In case you have to go. It's fine. I take you and your surgically repaired hip, get in the fucking crawl space, and shut up about it. I'll throw you some kibble. No, I give her wet food.
Well, that sounds like a good time.
How you doing?
I didn't move any furniture this week. I did walk the dog in the rain twice today, but that was pleasant. I like walking him in the rain because Hopper will wear this cute little rubber ducky raincoat we got for him. So it's just the cutest damn thing. He smells terrible. He smells like wet dog, but what are you going to do?
It's raining real bad up here too, which is awesome to move furniture in.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that made it so much better.
Oh boy. So hey, we're getting started kind of late. I don't actually have a lot to talk about this week, other than I'm going to attempt to start the gym 3 days a week next week.
Oh, good. I'm
not sure if it's a good idea or not, but maybe it is. Because I've been kind of wanting to go more for the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, no, you need to have a couple of months under your belt. Don't burn yourself out. So I've told myself if I still feel like going in February, then that's when I'll flip that switch, and I still feel like giving it a shot, so I'm gonna. And so on Thursday, my gym friend Erica.
That was a weird transition.
Yeah, it's still talking about the gym.
Okay.
So my gym friend Erica, last week when there was still like snow and ice everywhere, she fell getting out of her car and she sprained her wrist. So
oh no,
she hadn't been going to the gym as often because she can only really work her lower half. And I was like, no, you need to keep this up. See, her husband is like, he's a skip leg day kind of guy. He's an assistant manager at a different gym. And he's just like, he's fucking huge with like these little skinny legs. Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah. So I was like, no, you need to get jacked from the waist down. And then you will be the funniest looking couple ever. So, anyways, she was the one that was using the Stairmaster, and I had that whole, like, is it like a urinal thing? Can I use, how weird is it going to be? I'm probably overthinking this. Well, it turns out I was, because on Thursday...
Sorry, I know we talked about it the whole way through last time, but you said, just now, it hit me, like, is it a urinal thing? Of, like, just imagining you going up and being like, I don't know how to use it. Do I pee on it? And then, like, having... like, God, no, Chris, put it away. It's not how you use this one.
But I want to watch the pee forever cascade down the stairs,
Like a fucking slinky that got exactly. Like a perpetually in motion slinky. It's back and forth. Kind of, what the fuck are you eating? It's not how that's supposed to look.
Anyway,
it's supposed to be clear, non-metallic and springy.
Well, then I need a doctor.
There's something very, very wrong with you.
I need to speak to somebody.
You need a manager or an area manager at least.
A priest, maybe. I don't know.
It just always comes out like that. It makes a woo, woo, woo noise when it does. It's really weird.
Got a lot of plumbing issues. My toilets are not happy. looking into getting a bidet that just shoots slinkies up my ass.
What's wrong with your bidet? It's an auger. Oh, fuck. You shouldn't have done that. Jesus.
I got it from bidoggers.com.
Oh, fuck. I'm crying and it hurts so much more because I don't have eyelashes. Oh, goodness gracious.
So anyway, so Thursday rolls around and I'm like, all right, I am going to use this stair stepper whether she's there or not. And I walked in and there she was in the stair stepper and I was like, fuck it, I'm going for it. So I went right up next to her. She waved hi. I mean, and we worked out next to each other. She didn't take her headphones out to try and talk to me, which thank God, because I cannot talk and do that at the same time. That is not something I am capable of doing.
Not yet. Soon.
I don't know. This Stairmaster's rough, but
it is.
But anyways, yeah. And then, like, she finished before I did, and when she was cleaning up the machine, I gave her a little fist bump because whenever we run into each other, I like to give her a fist bump, to be like, yeah, way to go. We're working out like grown-ups, and
we're doing a thing.
It wasn't awkward. It all worked out well. So, like many things in my life, I was overthinking it for nothing. But yes, my plan is to start next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, instead of Tuesday, Thursday.
That's very exciting.
We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be okay. I think I will continue to get in shape. I've also started to drink a lot of water. Last weekend, on Sunday, I went out to my friend Paul's house. Yeah. And we were, he wanted to have me over to, I want to make sure I get the terminology right here. Where the hell is my text? Paul go? There he is. All right, let's see.
I'm so excited for what this is. What needs this much of a short definition?
He texted me and said, "Do you want to come over Sunday and have a clay monster battle royale?"
I don't know what the fuck that means, but it sounds hot.
Right? So it's like, okay, sure. So me and John went out there, and it was this game that he had downloaded off the internet. So he had all these papers printed out, and he had like all these little tiny, all these little containers of Play-Doh, like just a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And he pushed these two tables together, and it was me and John, and he and his wife and his son, and then this other couple and their kid. And every single one of us made a monster. So like you get two little tubs of clay, and you make whatever monster you want. And then, like, depending on how many appendages it has for, like, walking or attacking or whatever, like, Paul basically gave it stats. So, like, you can move X amount of, like, you can move one hand length if you have this many legs or whatever. And then everybody got their own special power. Like, somebody, you each get 2 die. And then you roll the die and be like, okay, well, I want to use my special power. And if I get above an 8 between these 2 dice combined, then I get to do my special move. And like one of the special moves is the drop, where you pick up the other one's clay monster 3 feet in the air and then drop it and see what the damage was. Or the poke, where you get to just take one solid poke and squish through somebody else's figure and then see what kind of damage is done. And then, because it's clay, you fight with what's left and however many appendages you have left and whatever. It was long. It took like almost 2 hours to finish the game, but it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds nerdy as shit.
I had to go to Philly to do it. And
ew.
I don't like driving places anymore.
Just in general?
Especially don't want to drive like around Philly. Just not really something I'm interested in doing. Yeah, but
every day. Every day.
I know. I know I'm preaching to the choir here.
Ugh. It's just a horrible city.
It's just not a fun place to be.
It's not. It's filled with Eagles fans.
Oh, man. They're going to be I really I can't help but root for the Eagles. I mean, like, not only
I can help it.
I refuse to be excited about a third Chiefs win in a row. I can't do it. Plus, they're the local team, and a lot of my friends are Eagles fans. And like, if my sister hadn't forced me to not be an Eagles fan as a kid, by force, then I probably would have been an Eagles fan too. But here we are.
It's just,
I know you hate Philly sports fans.
Just
I understand.
Driving through the city on my way to work, I have to hear a bunch of fucking knuckleheads reminding each other of how to spell their team's name. D-A-G-L-B-S-C-O! Like, shut up! We get it! You and fucking Jets fans. You guys are so fucking dumb.
I mean, at least Eagles, you can, like, yes, if you're really, really dumb, Eagles, it's not super phonetic, right? You got the EA situation going on there. Jets is like, come on now. That couldn't be simpler.
Jets.
You had never seen seen the word before. You'd probably think EEGELS. Eels.
It's close. No, but that's not even how they say it, because they spell it right, and then they say Iggles. Iggles. Their fucking weird accent. I had a glass of water at the fucking Iggles game. What is wrong with you? Sorry, I'm in one right now.
Anyway,
I'm in a mood. Yeah,
I went out and did this monster thing, and on the drive home, I had probably the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. Now, chances are it's something to do with being severely dehydrated, because I didn't eat lunch, and the only food that was there was like mozzarella sticks and other salty things. So I had like a handful of goldfish crackers and some mozzarella sticks, and I was really hungry, and I didn't have enough water, and the headache was blinding. I don't even remember most of the drive home. I was just like focusing on what is in front of me, how do I get us home alive, because it was just blinding headache.
You should have let John drive.
I should have. No, he was playing Switch in the backseat. He was busy.
Oh.
He was occupied.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So I decided, I'm going to try and just drink a lot of water. How much water should I be drinking? So I weighed myself and I looked online, and the amount of water that I should theoretically be drinking is considerably higher than what I actually drink. And I feel like I drink a decent amount of. I felt like before I read that I drank a decent amount of water.
No, it is a shocking amount of what you're supposed to be drinking. Yeah,
and I still haven't hit like what they were saying online. I can't physically do that. I cannot drink that much water in a day. I just can't make that happen. But I bought myself one of those 10-cup Brita filters.
Yeah.
And I drain that once a day, and maybe a little bit more. But that's my goal, is I drain that thing once a day. I still have a little bit left. So I have about half a glass here, and then more of it behind me that I'll probably another glass back there and left in the filter that I'll grab during one of our breaks. But I'm about 3 days into it, and first day I was feeling real waterlogged.
Yeah.
And today maybe kind of sort of getting used to it. I don't know. I felt really weird after lunch today. I just started getting a different kind of headache, not the same headache as before, but just feeling really off. I think I ate too much cheese.
Yeah, that sounds like you. What's wrong with Kris? You had too much cheese. Been there.
I was making I had a grilled cheese sandwich for lunch, and it had cheddar and Colby Jack and butter on the bread, and I've just kind of felt a little like I had too much grease in my system, kind of a thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like this whole going to the gym thing is having a real negative effect on my shitty eating habits.
It's really highlighting how fucking disgusting I am.
I was out and about, and I really wanted to have I needed to go to, I cooked some awesome food last week. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I put it in the Discord. I was super proud of it. But I wanted to go I cooked beef lo mein, which came out fucking amazing. But I really wanted bean sprouts on it, because I talked last time about going to have pho, and I really liked the bean sprouts in it. So I really wanted to throw some bean sprouts in there, but nobody fucking sells bean sprouts anywhere near me. But when I was out there, I also needed to go to the UPS store, and right next to the UPS store is Primo Subs, which is one of my favorite sub shops.
The UPS store had bean sprouts. It's wild.
They did. It's really weird. Oh my God, they remodeled the entire UPS store, and I have no idea when, but it's like totally different on the inside. Like, didn't just like redo the signage or anything, like physically moved everything. Freaked me out.
Why?
Anyway, I really don't know why.
Seems unnecessary.
It did. There wasn't anything wrong with what they had cooking before, but I don't know. Maybe there was. I don't work there. But anyway,
all right.
I was going to get myself a sub, and then as I was going to do that, I was like, but what I really want is a salad.
Oh, fuck.
So I went to Wawa and I got myself a salad, and it was really good.
Isn't that the worst? I had a salad for dinner last night on purpose.
I love salads. It just,
fuck. No, that's the food that my food eats. To steal from Ron Swanson.
It's very Ron Swanson of you. No, I love me a good salad, and I have for quite some time. But like, usually given the option between a sandwich and a salad, I'm almost always going to choose the sandwich. But I just really wanted a salad, so I got the salad. And I was happy about it.
There's something wrong with us, Kris.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. Not a fan.
Did you play any games this week?
Just a bunch of Snap. My hand is starting to. I tried a little bit today, of playing Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster is if you subscribe to Apple Arcade, it is just part of Apple Arcade. So I was like,
I just got that too.
Sweet.
I
right?
just got the 1 through 6. I haven't. I turned it on and watched a little bit of the intro sequence, but I haven't actually played it yet.
This was just. It's just the first one. It's not the whole package. But I was like, I've got an old phone and I've got the Backbone controller. And that's kind of the thing that I want to carry with me now, I think, because I don't know that I'm comfortable bringing my Steam Deck to my job. Like once my hand is feeling better, maybe I will. I don't know. But like, I'm certainly more comfortable taking the phone and the Backbone to work. Because if something happens, because again, I work in Philly. It's fucking sketchy. Like where I work can be sketchy at times. So it's, if something happens to that, I'm not going to be anywhere near as upset as I would be with the Steam Deck. So I was like, let me give this a shot. I tried to play it a little bit today, and I could only play like about 10 minutes before my hand just started like cramping and feeling really bad. But I can feel progress, So I think like in another couple of days, I'll maybe be able to get up to like 15, 20 minutes at a time with a controller. And then we'll kind of go from there. But like, I really want to jump into this. I'm really excited about it. I fucking loved it. I haven't played that Final Fantasy game in 25 years.
And like, did you actually get anywhere in it yet?
I walked up and you talk to the king and he tells you to go save his daughter, and the knight like captured his daughter Sarah or whatever, and you got to go up into the cave.
Intro that was oh wow, there's like a whole ass story going on here.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to try it too. Unfortunately, I can't because I just got 2 games to review, but
yeah, no, I love those games. Those first 6 Final Fantasy games are just some of I think the best games ever made. So I'm really excited to jump into it, especially because I didn't have to pay for it.
Way to go.
Yeah. So maybe next week. We'll see. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I finally finished Undertale, and loved the pacifist ending. I thought that was great. I will also say that I have now officially encountered what you were talking about, what turned you off on Undertale, because John will not shut up about.
Oh God, it's
the weird lore and the mods and
enough. I don't care anymore. You've ruined it.
Yeah, you're not gonna. He's not going to take that experience away from me because it was phenomenal. But like, because I'm really just kind of tuning him out a lot because he's just really, really talking about it. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, and there's so much of like
there's
just so much, and it's like, oh, okay, all right. I can't care. I don't have space for it.
If you do this genocide run in this way at this time, then you see this one and like, okay, I've heard the word genocide enough for one lifetime. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we tell Roddy all the time. We're like, dude, you've used up all of your words for today. Now you have to be quiet until tomorrow. Like, I'm very sorry, but you're done talking. And if you keep talking, I'm done listening. I'm letting you know, anything you say going forward, I will not hear. Sorry. I love the fact that you're showing me pictures of like how you're merging certain legendary Pokemon and Gen 1 Transformers. That's great. But like, I don't give a fuck what else anybody else did with it. Enough. I'm done. I love you so much. Stop talking to me.
So I had finished Undertale and I was really feeling continuing to feel the RPG vibe, and I got Paper Mario Thousand Year Door from our listener Matt, and I was like ready to jump on that, and then I got my first assignment from Nintendo Force, which is Stray, which I expected. They said it said at some point I'm going to get to do Stray, so they gave me the review code for Stray, so I got to start Stray on Switch. I downloaded it. I haven't started it yet because there's really just has not been an opportunity to do that. But I also got the Final Fantasy collection in the mail. It was one of those things I was able to get through work at a discount. So I was like, all right, I had them buy a bunch of games, and then like they're just kind of hanging on to them, and I'm slowly picking off the list of like physical Switch games that I know are going to disappear at some point. Yeah. So like I'm just gonna pick them up one at a time until I get I grab the ones that I need. And Final Fantasy was the first one I chopped off the list because I really wanted to have. I wanted to have that because I do have like the original Super Nintendo. I have the NES and Super NES games. Sure. But like that wasn't all of them because we didn't get a couple of them, and they're also these Pixel remasters are really nice. There's a lot. I was never able to get into the original Final Fantasy, so I've never played through that game. But this one kind of fleshes it out a little bit more, and I'm pretty excited to give it a go. So I was just really feeling that RPG vibe. But alas, I will be reviewing Stray, and then just because I saw we were talking about at dinner, we're going to take John and Ellie to go see the Dogman movie on Tuesday. We were going to try and take them today because it's this is today's opening day, and they're huge Dogman fans. Right. But the movie theater does this Tuesday thing where the tickets are cheaper on Tuesdays. So we're like, fuck it. They can survive the weekend, and we'll take them on Tuesday, and then we'll take them out to dinner afterwards. But that reminded me that I had gotten John that Dogman game for Christmas, and he was just playing it again yesterday. No, was it yesterday? What's today? Friday? Yes. He was just playing it again yesterday, and I was like, I should probably mention to Lucas that I have that game and I could review it if he wants to, since Dogman's such a hugely popular
big
property.
Thing. Yeah. And
he just messaged me now and said, well, you're already reviewing a cat game. You may as well do a dog one too. He's not wrong. Yeah, it's a cute game. I've played the first. I played a level or two because John wanted me to give it a try. It's a very easy, which is it should be. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. It's not quite as clever as the books because Dave Pilkey didn't write it, but sure. It's clearly the same vibe. It looks nice. The music's cute. So it's a pretty acceptable game. John loved it because he just loves Dogman and Cat Kid and all that entire universe.
Oh yeah. How many games when we were kids that were not great games, but they were properties that we liked, so we played the shit out of them, and we're like, oh, this game's fucking great,
Hey, sometimes those were fucking great. That DuckTales game.
Sometimes, but like I'm thinking like the first Turtles game, which is objectively not a good game. It's just not. It's okay that it's not, but like, I fucking loved it,
Yeah.
And was like, this game's the best thing I've ever played because I'm a Ninja Turtle.
Because I have Ninja Turtles at home.
Yeah, this is amazing. It's not. It's shit. But, and like, I felt that way the G.I. Joe games on NES. Not great. Not terrible. But not awesome. They're okay.
They're games. They work. They have a license. You shoot stuff as G.I. Joe characters. You live the dream.
Snake Eyes. It was fine. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, it's fucking Snake Eyes. It's the best thing I've ever seen. Fucking love it. Anyway.
Anyway. So that was a good time. And I think that was just about it. We still been playing Mario Party Jamboree, which is still really fun. And that's about it. Really not much in games this week besides downloading a couple of things. Downloading a couple of things to not really play because who has the time?
To have. That's right. We
just to be here.
We did watch a movie this week that I fucking loved and Tiff really hated. And I think we've just kind of figured out that I like Robert Eggers movies, and she does not. So I don't know if you've seen The Witch, which is the Vivitch, the two V's one.
No.
I thought it was fucking great. Loved it.
I think I've ever heard of it.
It's awesome. It's just a weird period piece horror movie. I think it's fucking awesome. Then he did a movie with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson called The Lighthouse, which I'm sure you haven't seen, but you've probably seen the meme where it's like in black and white and they're just fucking yelling at each other.
I think I've seen that, yeah.
That movie was fucking awesome, and Tiff fucking hated both of those. But she was really interested in Nosferatu. So we watched it, and holy shit, did she hate it, and I thought it was brilliant. So I was like, oh, this is so fucking good. I really fucking like this movie. And we started talking, and she was like, what did you even like about it? I started going off on this thing, and she was like, I don't even know you. Shut up. We're not even this. Stop with your fucking, the camera is a character, and what's wrong with you, and fuck you. But if anybody's looking for something to watch, Nosferatu was super dope, especially if you like Robert Eggers movies. So you should watch it. You should watch it too, Chris, because it's not really scary, you know? Like,
you've recommended a lot of things to me that I have absolutely zero interest
I know, but, you know, I'm trying to... You're expanding your food palette. I'm trying to expand your entertainment palette, you know?
I think I'm good, but I appreciate the effort.
I'm all right. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
I don't have a shortage of things to watch. I'm
no,
not, like,
I know, but...
in the market for more stuff to watch.
I mean, that's fair. I started Shrinking. I watched...
So goddamn good.
Tiff and I watched the first 2 episodes, and she was like, I don't need to watch anymore. And I was like, well, I do. So I'm going to watch that. And we watched the new Spider-Man show.
No, I haven't caught any of that yet, but Karen and I have been watching Shrinking. We watched it for this week's episode, and
it's so good.
It's fucking great. It's
good.
Brett Goldstein and Dan Harmon. It's you know, a lot of the same creative team behind Ted Lasso. So yeah,
I think it's awesome. I really like it.
Very much loving it. I love grumpy old Harrison Ford. I know there's a lot to complain about, and like the newest Indiana Jones movie. You know. Why we got to make all our heroes all grumpy and old? It's like, well, I mean, I love grumpy old Harrison Ford.
He is in fact grumpy and old.
Give me more grumpy old Harrison Ford movies. I'll watch that. It's a good time.
I'm super into that.
No, I think Shrinking's phenomenal.
Yeah, big fan.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps up the first part of the show. So, all right, not true. We got to do this. Because I blew it off for the last 2 weeks because I'm a fucking jerk.
You are.
The Listener Golden Caveman Awards. We had a couple of people send them in, and I just completely boffed it 2 weeks in a row. So here we go.
Be honest. You were like, I don't fucking care about these.
Just keep forgetting them. Just like I forgot to take Ellie to art class this morning because
wonderful. Dad of the year.
Like, look, so she's got this extra art class thing, so she goes to school like an hour before her brother on Fridays. Ew. Yeah, whatever. So she's downstairs. She didn't remember it either. And then, like, I'm supposed to leave to take her there at 10 after 7 because she's got to be there at 7:20. And
that's so early.
10 after 7 rolls around, and I'm like, fuck, art. And Ellie's just like... I'm like, yeah, we should stay here because I woke up this morning and I was feeling a little.
We should definitely stay here.
Yeah, I was feeling a little stiff from the gym the previous day, so I've been doing some Wii Fit on the days that I don't go to the gym. Just I do some yoga, and I was doing that. And when I was halfway through it, Ellie came down and she was watching me do it. And then once I was done, we still had a few minutes before. I usually call the kids down for breakfast around 7. And like it was like 7:50. I was like, well, I'm on the Wii U. Let's do some bowling. Fuck it, dude. Let's go bowling. So I threw her a Wii remote, and we're like, we're doing bowling. She's like, yay! So we're having this really fun Wii bowling, going back and forth. And then I realized what time it is, and she was like, no, I'm not going to go this week. We should stay here and finish our bowling game. I was like, yeah, we should.
Certain things are much more important.
Seriously, we were having such a blast.
I meant that seriously. Like, sometimes those moments are like, this is what has to happen right now.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
Trying to rush out the door to get her to this art thing on time. No, that wasn't going to happen. No way. Anyway, listener Golden Caveman Rumblemans says, here's my awards for this year. Game of the year that's actually 50 games of the year, UFO 50. UFO 50 is an affront to any game developer that's never finished a game. Mossmouth delivered 50 titles that are all independently polished and complete. There's bits from every genre imaginable, and many of them include Party House, Mini and Max, Rail Heist, could have been released as standalone games and still been worth picking up. The cherry on top of a meta-narrative and hidden secrets throughout oozed charm and made the whole experience feel like discovering an actual library of retro games for a system long forgotten. Well said.
It's great.
Game that I keep playing even though the levels are terrible, Super Mario Maker 2. 2024 continued my addiction to clearing uncleared levels in Mario Maker 2. Something about going where no Mario has gone before is incredibly satisfying. Most of the levels are terrible, but there's the occasional diamond in the rough, as well as the joy of cheesing overly complex or artificially difficult levels. Mario Maker 2 is likely forever my comfort food game of choice, often a default fallback when I'm too indecisive on what to play or don't have enough dedication to start something new. Love Mario Maker 2. Really hope there's a 3 for the Switch too, because
I'd have to imagine there will be, right?
There's so much potential in that game, and
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much left.
I know Mario Maker 2 didn't hit the sales that they expected it to, because like they played that card with Mario Maker 1, where the initial holy shit happened with the first game. Then Mario Maker 2 was like, yeah, this is great. You know, we've seen it, but yeah, hooray, good for you.
We've done this.
I hope they do. I hope they go for the three-peat and they just keep going with it. Anyways. Best game that I had to read Wikipedia after the fact to understand what the heck was going on, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes was a bit of a blind pickup for me this year. I saw it on so many Indie Game of the Year awards that I figured I'd just give it a try. I ended up binging straight through it over the course of a weekend and loving every minute of it. The puzzles are interesting but not obtuse. You always feel like you have somewhere to go or something to figure out, and the story feeds you just enough details that you're enticed to see more of it. I've never played anything from Simogo, but I might have to check out the rest of their catalog after this. I hear Sayonara Wild Hearts is quite good. It is extremely good. It is one of my favorite games of this generation.
That's all right.
And because I adore Sayonara Wild Hearts, I intend to try Lorelei and the Laser Eyes at some point. It just, it's a horror puzzle game that seems like it's going to frustrate the shit out of me, but I owe that. I friggin' love Sayonara Wild Hearts so much. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Great stuff. Best game that reinvigorated Metroidvania's Animal Well. Animal Well was the first fresh take on Metroidvania that I've seen in a long, long time. All of the power-ups are different and unique, and they do exactly what I want in Metroidvanias. They drop you off with no context and just let you figure it out. Every power-up can be utilized in interesting and unexpected ways, and the layers of secrets in this game go incredibly deep. The art style is uniquely creepy, but perfectly fits everything that's going on. I really wanted to try that Animal Well game.
It's really good.
Just, hasn't made the list yet. Too many other things on my plate. And last but not least, best 8-bit game remake on a 16-bit console, Kid Icarus SNES. Remember, this is Rumblemans. I'm biased, but hear me out. The SNES port of Kid Icarus adds CD quality sound, in-game randomizer, 3DS style backgrounds, and a machine-native port to the SNES. It's by far the most work I've done on any of my ROM hacks, and I'm very proud of it. It's a good thing Infidelity released his Metroid port in 2023, or I wouldn't be able to win my own award. Well said.
Fantastic.
Yes, your 16-bit Kid Icarus is phenomenal. Well done. And then we have another set from Trashman. Trashman says, best update for something old award goes to Doom and Doom 2. There was already a lot to do, but then they added 25 new deathmatch maps, a whole new Hard as Nails episode, online cross-platform and co-op for 16 people. How do you top that? Yeah, loved it. I was just thinking about playing it the other night, and then I ran out of consciousness. I need to go back. I bought this game because I heard Kris talk about it once, and I happened to be playing that genre at the time, so I figured, what the heck award? Attack of the Karens. I can't believe this game won an award. This is a competent little shooter. The story is ridiculous, but as far as gameplay goes, I had fun this one. It's a little easy, but you can actually curse yourself, which ups the challenge. Yes, the game was pretty decent. I did not dislike it.
I did not play it. Sorry.
The What Is Happening Right Now, that's coming out. No fucking way. That's a day one purchase award. Goes to MVC Fighting Collection. If you know anything about the rights to all the characters in this game, no one thought it had a snowball's chance in hell of ever happening again. My only gripe here is the lack of cross-platform support. Yeah, same here. I might have to buy this game again just so I can take you for a ride. I welcome it. The holy shit, this game is actually better than Contra award goes to Iron Meat. If you haven't played this one yet, you owe it to yourself to try. It's definitely not Contra with all the gore, but goddamn does it play tight. I have heard very good things about Iron Meat. It's on my list.
I have too, yeah.
The I'm Still Waiting award goes to Mina the Hollower. They told us 2025.
Yep.
That game will come out. I feel confident in that one.
I do
they'll
too.
work on it till they're done. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think that one's Hollow Knight.
It fucking better not be. Silksong, you mean?
Yes, Silksong. Best game recommendation from someone else award, Prey. This game feels like the next iteration of what BioShock was. If you like the latter, you'll enjoy this. Best game from 2024 award, Metal Slug Tactics. Dean has already sung its praises. There's a demo on Steam. If you love tactical games or Metal Slug, this is for you. Best game I played all year award, Cuphead. I wasn't sure this was going to be for me, but the music, the controls, the art style, this is a symphony. Well said. Cuphead is a masterpiece.
It really fucking is.
It really fucking is.
Outstanding game. It's so hard.
It is. I still haven't finished it myself.
It's
I'll
so
dive
hard.
back in every couple of months. I'll jump back into that level I'm stuck on, and I'll just nope.
Nope, not today.
I got my money's worth out of that because it's in the last world. I've definitely got my money's worth. That is a phenomenal game, but I just don't know that I will ever have the time and the mental capacity to finish it. Like, I know I could do it if I practice it enough, but I need to be able to practice it enough, and it's just not something I have the time or the patience for in my old age. But yeah. Okay. Sorry. You know how sometimes I'll have cooking videos on while I'm doing the show?
Yeah.
This one started with an ice cube tray that they filled with gravy and parsley.
Nope, I'm out. That's no. Now
I got to know what they're doing. All right, so they just basically made mashed potatoes, and now they have these gravy ice cubes, and they're wrapping them in the mashed potatoes with the bacon in them. So it's bacon mashed potatoes. Oh boy. Now they're breading it. They're going to deep fry it. Yep, they're deep frying it. They're deep frying it. That's why they froze the gravy.
Fucking white people.
Oh, yes.
This is why I don't like white people.
Oh my God. It's a deep fried mashed potato ball with the melted gravy on the inside. Oh, yes.
Stop it.
Oh, my inner fat kid is just so happy about that. Anyways, so yeah, we're going to take ourselves a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be talking about what's new at Stone Age Gamer and what's going on in week-old news. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new in the gratuitous rainbow spectrum at stoneagegamer.com.
First up, Toidles. They're great, especially when they're teenagers, mutants, and ninjas. They're even better when they're starring in beat-em-ups on 16-bit platforms, and it just so happens that the fine folks at Konami blessed us all with a duet of them back in the mid-90s. But as is the case with all things on the interwebs, we must choose which system had the better game. Thus, the battle between the Super NES and the Genesis rages ever forward. One system has Master Tatsu. The other, time travel. It's not really super fair there. One has Rocksteady. The other has Bebop and Rocksteady. Which one was the best? We'll find out in 16-bit brawl, Turtles in Time versus the Hyperstone Heist.
This is probably the most clear-cut victory of any of these ones that I've done so far.
Yeah.
I know there are folks out there who say, no, Hyperstone Heist is actually better. I'm sorry. It is not. It's
Objectively.
I very much enjoy Hyperstone Heist. It's a good time. Turtles in Time trounces it.
Yeah. It's like, Adventure, it's a better game than God of War. It's like, no, it just fucking isn't. I'm sorry. Like, it's not. It's good.
Next up, the Nintendo Switch 2 has been unveiled, and you better believe the internet has opinions. It's the death of creativity from Nintendo. How did they manage to screw this up by playing it safe? Of course, it's fine when Sony and Microsoft do it, but Nintendo? Why didn't they alter their successful form function in the name of whimsy? How could the bold, innovative company that refused to use CDs and make the Wii standard definition instead of high definition let down its fans, leaving the door wide open for the Steam Deck and the other handheld PCs to doubtlessly outsell the Switch 2 like this? What happened to Weird Nintendo? Well, I have the answer to these very well thought out concerns in a post called What Happened to Weird Nintendo? Read it, won't you?
Finally, continuing his trek through the vast library of PlayStation IP, Kris brings you... Sorry, IP. Yep, it was funny. I thought it was going to be funny. It was. I don't know if anybody else is chuckling, but I'm chuckling. That's all I care about. Kris brings you the next entry in the PlayStation report. This time, he's covering the letters E and F, determining the health ratings for Sony's properties that begin with those very letters. So, how are the likes of the Eye of Judgment, Fat Princess, and Folklore doing these days? We'll find out in the PlayStation report. Echoes, Eyes, and EverQuests.
For all this and more, be sure to check out the gratuitous Rainbow Spectrum under the blog section every Wednesday at StoneAgeGamer.com. All right, everybody, we are back. Let's talk about what's new at Stone Age Gamer. And really wasn't a crazy busy week at the Stone Age Gamer situation, but we did finally get the Retro Fighters Crystal Hunter controllers for the Xbox. These are one of those Retro Fighters Super Limited Edition things. It's a single run of just doing a single run of this color. So if you want a crystal clear controller of that ilk, now's your chance. Because once they're gone, they're gone. So
get it.
Limited run. Fear. FOMO.
Get it. Do
FOMO edition. Do it now.
In fact, we just sold another one. I just saw it go. There's one less.
There's one less chance for you to get this crystal clear controller to match your crystal clear Xbox that you probably don't have.
That's right. But we'll sell you a shell for that one, too. Do we have those?
Controller, though.
I'm sorry. I keep saying we. Do you have those?
I don't know. It's all over there.
That's your job. Your job is to know things about
Not right now.
This company.
Now, my job is to tell you that it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for week-old news.
That's right. That was an unplanned transition, and it was
masterful.
Good.
We're so goddamn good at this.
Oof. After 10 years, we fucking better be.
Did you know tomorrow is the 10-year anniversary of Geekade?
Is it really?
February 1st.
That's fucking stupid. That was a long time ago.
News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. And first up, this one's not coming from any specific website, because for some reason, no websites really seem to report about this, or at least the ones that I follow. I just know the story. So there was a situation dealing with the Atari 50 DLC on the Atari VCS. Apparently the VCS was supposed to originally get the Atari 50 DLC packs for free, just later than everybody else.
Okay.
Over the last week, Digital Eclipse sent out a message. I've learned a lot about Atari fans this week.
And they're all rational, level-headed. There's nothing bananas about any of their takes.
I have to say that I've been very disappointed in the Atari community this week. So on January 23rd, they posted in the official Discord, Atari and Digital Eclipse have been evaluating our options for bringing the latest Atari 50 DLC content, the first console wars in the wider world of Atari, to the Atari VCS and Good Old Games storefronts, and we have come to the conclusion that the content will not be released on the VCS or GOG. We know this will be unwelcome news. The studio's proprietary development tools don't allow for this content to be efficiently replatformed to the VCS and GOG platforms. We will continue to look into solutions, but at this point there's not an active project to make the DLCs or extended edition available, and we wanted to let the community know. Yes, that is a bummer. Yeah. However, and yes, they did say that they were going to do this before. They probably shouldn't have, but they also probably believed at the time that they were going to be able to do this.
Sure.
Here's the thing. that I think a lot of VCS owners don't seem to grasp is that there is a very small amount of VCS owners. This is not a money-making platform for Atari. When Wade Rosen stepped up took over as CEO of this company, this was not something that he would have done. Like, launching the VCS was a bad idea from the get-go. It's a neat machine, and I love it. But I understand that it is not a money-making venture for Atari. It's something that their fandom really enjoys. We like the idea of playing Atari games on Atari hardware, but this system is not well designed. Like, the physical case and the joystick, super cool looking stuff. I get it. But the internals in that system has such a hard time running Atari 50 to begin with. It takes up a ton of space. Like, the sound in Atari 50 is super compressed and super low as opposed to the other platforms, because that system is not designed to do this kind of stuff very well. It's just not. So when I read this news, I was like, oh, that's a bummer, but makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That was my personal reaction before I'd looked at anything else. Just, I read that because I'm in the Discord, and I said, oh, that's kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to getting that on the Atari VCS because I like that platform and I like free stuff.
Sure.
Then I saw the community's reaction, and it was such vitriol of, I hate this new Atari. They hate us. They hate our fans. They hate the VCS. They hate us for playing it. They just have no respect for their fans. They're diehard fans that are there for them. They have no respect for us at all. They hate us, and they doing us dirty. They never should have promised that in the first place, and they owe us. They owe us because they said they were going to do it, and they didn't. Now they owe us something. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I know. I am not hyperbolizing these statements. And it was so many of them in the Atari group sentiment on Facebook, and I'm just looking at this like, how do you guys not realize this is not a huge company? Atari is not a huge company with infinite resources. The fact that they were dedicating time to even attempting to give you this content on this specific platform for free was kind of a miracle. And it sucks that it didn't work out, but like, really? Like, you think they're doing this because they hate you? Or like,
definitely not.
What in the world? Like, the fact that the VCS is still getting content to this day. I mean, what is it? The next Pixel game, Looney Landers, is coming out in like a couple of days. Like, the VCS is not dead. This platform is still active in a world where it has no business being active.
None.
But it's
whatsoever.
got a fan base, and Atari appreciates that fan base, and they do what they can within the means that they have. It's not a huge company, and they publish on all these other platforms. I'm baffled by the response to this.
I'm looking at some sales numbers here for the VCS. And according to Atari's own financial filings and reports, there's data for 2021, and I see 2022. I don't see anything past that. In 2021, hardware sales were around 2.4 million. Okay? In 2022, hardware sales were around 210,000. That is nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't even know if that first million you were talking about, I don't know if that's even sell-through. I feel like that's just...
I don't know. According to their financial reports, their hardware sales, or sales related to hardware, was 2.44 million in 2021. They've sold around 10,000 systems total, which again...
Now, that just says hardware. That doesn't specify VCS, correct?
No, it says VCS hardware. It says sales related to hardware. So...
Does it specify VCS anywhere?
No. It could
because
be
they deal
other
with
stuff, the flashbacks and all that stuff.
Exactly. That's their hardware market. It's not just VCS.
Yeah.
And the
2600 plus...
because they couldn't
sell
for what they had.
They've sold around the estimate from like everywhere seems to be around 10,000 units, give or take, for the VCS, which again, might sound like a lot. That is nothing. That's nothing. Comparatively speaking. Like, 10,000 units, even if you assume that every single person who has the VCS also bought Atari 50, it's still nothing.
Yeah, it's a pretty tiny
It's a blip.
number.
Like,
and again,
I
can't stress this enough. I'm saying this as a fan. I love my VCS, but you gotta understand how small a market that is. It is not a money-making venture, and Atari they're in the business to make money, but they're also, I think they're doing as much as I could have ever expected them to do with this complete dumpster fire of a platform.
Yeah.
However, on the 27th, Atari posted this. We have put the mechanics in place to offer everyone on the VCS who owns Atari 50 a code so that they can unlock the base game and DLC content on Steam, PlayStation, Switch, or Xbox. We have pulled the list of accounts that owned the game on the Atari VCS as of yesterday, January 26th. In order to get a code, you send them an email, blah, 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 and they go through the steps. And they said, we're setting a deadline for requesting the keys at 60 days. So they're offering everybody who was due to get the free update on the VCS, right, they're giving it to them for free on the platform of their choice, which is such an above and beyond.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like, not just the DLC, but the base game too. Like, okay, cool. Here's the whole damn thing. You can do it anywhere but the VCS, because the problem is the VCS is not built for this shit. It's just not built for DLC. And by and large, the response had been 2 thumbs up. That's a really good compromise. Thanks, Atari. But I'm still seeing they should give us some store credit too. They need to give us more.
No, they shouldn't.
That's
Get
not
the fuck
enough.
Out of here.
They promised us this, and then they turned their backs on us, and they owe us more than this free game and the free DLC on the platform of choice. And also, no, I don't want that. I wanted to play this on Atari hardware. You don't care about your fan base. And I'm all right, well then send it to me. I don't have it yet. I'll take somebody's fucking code. You don't want it, you prick. I'm utterly baffled by the lack of awareness of what this is in the pantheon of the video game industry. Like, I don't understand how you can be a fan of Atari and not look at where the company is now as opposed to where they were 10 years ago and think that this is a version of the company that's not worth your effort or worth paying attention to. Like, I'm a huge Atari fan. I haven't loved every single decision that this company has made, because that's just never going to be the case. But as a huge Atari fan since I was a tiny kid, the fact that there exists Atari hardware on my shelf that I can turn on and connect to an online store right now and buy new games is fucking astounding to me. And the fact that they're putting all their new properties on all the systems. They're more of a company. They're more closely related to the company that they used to be than they have been in decades. And that just brings me joy. I hate having to feel like John Hammond from fucking Jurassic Park. Yeah, I brought y'all down here. The only one I got on my side is the fucking blood-sucking lawyers. Don't make me defend a corporation. Yeah,
fuck,
don't make me do that. Like, come on, guys. What are we doing here? I hate complaining about the complaining, but at a certain point, it's so baffling to me if this the sheer. We've interviewed Stephen Frost from Digital Eclipse. This is not a company that is interested in fucking over their audience. Like, the people who work for that company do this shit because they love it. They do. That's the kind of company I want to support. And if they come out and say this is the value proposition is not there, this would be an irresponsible thing for us to dedicate more resources to, then I believe them. I believe that they tried and that it's just not viable makes sense to me. And to take that as some sort of personal affront, like, I don't know, man. Something's wrong with this planet.
Just enjoy shit. Just enjoy stuff.
Speaking of good news for Atari fans, Time Extension reports Atari Jaguar Mario Kart clone Atari Karts is getting a new limited edition reprint.
All right.
I can't believe this shit. So, Songbird Productions, who I'm unfamiliar with, but I feel like I need to be more familiar with, announced on Twitter announcing 3 Songbird reprints for the Jaguar, including a limited run of Atari Karts in partnership with Atari. Also, brand new box art for arcade shooters Wormhole 2000 and Spite X. So there's 2 homebrew games that are getting full-on box art and everything, physical releases for Jaguar, and a officially licensed Atari reprint of Atari Karts for Jaguar, which is a stupid expensive game. What's Atari Karts going for these days? Let's see.
Probably a lot, because they hate you.
There's so few of this game out there.
No, they're buying them all up so that you can't have it on purpose, just to fuck with Atari fans.
Loose, it's going for $230.
That's nuts.
And, it's nuts. But this is one that you look at and say, well, this is a legitimately uncommon game. There's not a lot of these out there. And it's an Atari-themed Mario Kart clone. Of course, this is also in Atari 50, so I don't really need this. So I'm not going to drop the $80 or whatever it costs to buy this new physical reprint. But I love that it's out there. I love that this is a thing that someone's doing, is printing new fucking Jaguar games. That's a system that's got a following. And I really like seeing where that's going. I wish there were more Jaguars out there, because it's such a fascinating system to see what people can do with it now, right? Because that was kind of the last generation where there was systems with really unique architecture, right? Like the 3DO, PlayStation 1, the N64, the Jaguar. Those systems are all so different from one another that when you have the same game on multiple systems, they're going to be different. Whereas now, you look at the difference between a PlayStation and an Xbox port of the same game, they're virtually identical, minus some frame rate things here and there. But that was the last generation where you could get this is a system that runs stuff like Cybermorph, which is all polygonal, and Atari Karts that looks like Super Mario Kart with Mode 7 effects. It's so weird. And the homebrew scene on the Jaguar, it's one of those systems I would love to see what people could really tap out of it if there was enough effort being able to be put into it. But there's so few Jaguars out there that even the homebrew scene is difficult to take off, because who has the experience and who's going to actually get to play the games because of how little hardware there is out there.
Again, you start talking about that value proposition of, I can make a homebrew game for the Genesis that tons of people will be into, or I could do it for this super niche platform that somebody will be like, oh, that's really cool. It's a shame I can't play it.
Yeah. Like when we got the Jaguar Game Drive for the first time, which is a great flash card for the Atari Jaguar by Retro HQ. When we got that in, the first 2 or 3 shipments of them sold out instantly, and then that was the wall. They still sell, but nowhere near those first couple of shipments, because the market saturated that quickly.
The 18 people that wanted it got
That's how few Jaguars are out there. And it's not it's not because it's a good product. It's a great product. It's just that there really aren't that many Atari Jaguars out there to go around, and they're super expensive because of it. So either way, the fact that this is a thing that exists makes me happy. So, pray for Songbird Studios making new reprints of Jaguar games. Sad news here. Nintendo Life reports Ubisoft confirms another wave of layoffs with 185 employees affected. The restructurings continue.
Not surprising.
Not surprising, yeah. Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown fell well short of companies' targets. Lots of talk about a potential buyout of Ubisoft, which is Look, I'm no fan of Ubisoft, but I am really not liking all this massive consolidation that's going on throughout the industry. And
right,
Xbox doesn't need to own Ubisoft and Activision and Blizzard. And
I mean, because at some point it would have to be stopped. You would think, anyway, right? Like, it almost got stopped with the Activision thing.
Yeah.
But if Microsoft were to then pick up Ubisoft, like, you would imagine that would have to be the thing where it's like, all right, enough. Or, like, just announce that you're just going to publish games everywhere and be done with it, and then buy whoever the fuck you want. Like, it's just... Because, Ubisoft would be so much better if it were owned by literally any of the three.
I think Ubisoft would be a whole lot better if they just accepted the fact that they don't need to make all the money. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown cannot have cost them... Like, I don't know what the budget of that game was, but I don't imagine it was such an obscenely high budget that game needed to sell millions upon millions upon millions of copies to become profitable, right?
Well, it's one of the things.
Game,
yeah. The problem is that when you are a publicly owned and traded company, then the only thing that matters is year after year profits for shareholders, not for the people making the games, but you put out the projections, and when you don't hit the projections, then the shareholders don't get as much money. Like you said, like, you don't have to make all the money. Like, you're still getting money, but you didn't get all of the money. So in order to hit those projections, well, I got to pay people less money.
So I just pay fewer people. And there we go. Now we've made more money than last year. But this insane fallacy of consistent year after year growth is unsustainable. And it doesn't make it's mathematically impossible. You will never always be able to make more money year over year. So it is okay to just make money. Like, if you turn a profit, that should be enough.
Should be.
But it's not for everyone except a very precious few. Most of the corporations are just like, we need to make all of the money. Like, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown has hit 1.3 million sales so far. There was a time when selling over 1 million copies of a game was genuinely considered a great thing.
Yep.
And this game, I refuse to believe that 1.3 million in sales wasn't enough for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown to turn a profit for that company. And if this company was structured in an intelligent manner and not no, we need to make all of the money, that 1.3 million in sales would have been like, yeah, cool, we made a profit.
Yeah.
On to the next thing. But that's not the world we live in.
There's a weird thing going on right now with the hedge fund. That there's a hedge fund called Strategic Capital that is currently demanding Gung Ho, who makes and publishes Puzzle and Dragons, to reform their business practices, because the CEO of Gung Ho is making more money than they think he should. And one of the quotes in this article says, as a shareholder, Japan's Strategic Capital requires Puzzle and Dragons developer Gung Ho to carry out thorough reforms to protect shareholder interests. Not developers, not creative, not whatever. And Gung Ho, look, they are a fucking failure as a company outside of Puzzle and Dragons. They just are. It's not even something you could argue. There are no other hit games for Gung Ho. However, Puzzle and Dragons has made an absurd amount of money for Gung Ho. It's fucking nuts. Right now, I just pulled it up for 2024. Puzzle and Dragons combined brought in November of 2024, Puzzle and Dragons brought in $11,490,000 in November, and then in December brought in $14,740,000. So in 2 months, they made $25 million, and the shareholders are upset because the CEO is getting paid at a higher level than I think Nintendo's CEO is getting paid. And it's like, look, you want to argue that the creators aren't getting paid enough, that the programmers, that the developers, you want to make that argument? I'm on board with you, 100%. But fuck the rest of you. Like, just all the way off. Nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
$25 million. $25 million in 2 months isn't enough money. Eat a fucking dick. Eat a bag of dicks, you assholes. Fuck you.
An entire bouquet at your earliest convenience.
A bouquet, a buffet of fucking dicks. And not clean ones either.
Goodness gracious me.
Just a bunch of dirty, been working outside. Fucking
dirty fucking dangles.
Smelly, cheesy dicks.
Anyway,
oh, God.
Sorry. Nintendo reports. Business owner eggs on Nintendo by opening Mario Ramen just outside the Nintendo Museum. I would say it's M.A.R.I.O, which I have to assume is how they're getting away with it.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, right outside the museum.
Fantastic.
Assholes.
No, that's great. That's super funny.
There's an update. Let's see. Locals in the area have noticed that the Mario Ramen sign out front of the restaurant has been removed, and without explanation. It's unclear whether this happened due to Nintendo stepping in, the restaurant deciding it was best to avoid a legal matter, or if the business was shuttered before it even had a chance to open.
Probably a little of both.
Yeah, that makes me a little sad, because, like, it's a dick move. It's an absolute dick move, but it's so freaking clever. Like, yeah, let's have a Mario Ramen shop directly outside. I hope Nintendo just bought the restaurant and said, you're going to be official now.
They were probably just mad they didn't think of it. Like, fuck, that is a good idea.
This is a great idea. There needs to be an official Mario Ramen store right outside the museum. Let's do it. It's a great business opportunity.
What would the flavors be? Just all fucking...
Hope it's not
marinara. It's marinara ramen. Is that a thing? I don't feel like it should be.
That sounds terrible. That sounds.
It doesn't sound good.
Does
it? You think?
I'd be into that. I'd give it a try.
I'll try it, but
I like those two things. They don't seem like they would clash that poorly.
I mean, I also like sriracha and vanilla ice cream. I don't want to try those things together, though. Again, I would, but I don't actively want to.
Anyways, IGN reports Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation 5.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Again, Microsoft just announced that you're a publisher.
Yeah,
just
why are they still making hardware? They keep talking about they're making, they're working on the successor to what's it? The Xbox Series.
The Series.
Fuck their current series is called. They have to talk
about
making a successor.
I know.
Like, I really gotta wonder why.
Stop it. Stop
what
it.
What are you doing? I'm so curious. Where does that get to be such a good idea? Like, if you're not offering something truly unique anymore, then why are we doing it? Like, just get on board with the other platforms that are out there and focus on the stuff that you're good at.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Again, I don't know. I'm just a fucking schmuck on the internet, but it just seems like a weird business decision.
Microsoft. going to be an interesting couple of years for a number of reasons.
For a whole mess of reasons.
Destructoid reports, Video Game History Foundation's digital library is now available for everyone. We talked about this a while ago. It is officially out now. You can peruse their library of magazines, which is super fascinating. I wasn't able to get it to do what I wanted it to do, but I admit I have only played with it for about 5 minutes before having to move on to something else. I love that this is a thing. It's going to keep getting better. They're going to keep working on it. This is such a great resource. I'm so glad.
Yeah,
it's
awesome. Yeah, I'm super happy it's there.
Me 3. And finally, because this was kind of a light news week, Destructoid reports another live service dies as WB is ending multiverses with Season 5. Yes, multiverses, which was shut down once already, is now shutting down again because...
Who could have seen that coming? The leopard surely won't eat my face.
This is another one of those games that I just have to wonder, like, if they had just made it a game, like Smash Brothers, like...
Right.
It's just a game.
Yep.
Not a free-to-play service you sign up for, and just make the game with the licenses. I mean, this is a soulless amalgamation of nonsense, but
they don't even need the licenses. It's it's WB Games publishing all WB owned character. Warner Brothers owns DC and the Looney Tunes and Cartoon Network
and Game of Thrones for some reason.
And Game of Thrones, because it's all HBO Max, WB, the whole Discovery thing. Fucking put you could have put Kenny Omega in there and the Young Bucks fucking beating up Batman. I would have played it then. Fucking have Bugs Bunny and fucking Tyrion Lannister just fucking each other up. That sounds like a good idea.
It's such a goofy premise, and like you put all this like product together and make a Smash Brothers clone, and like I don't think it was ever going to be a masterpiece. But I feel like if you had just made it a game that you sell as a game and not try to make it into something more than that, like, just make this a product you sell, aim it at kids or adults. Like, a lot of the character choices are really strange, but you know what? Whatever. It's a crazy crossover thing. It could have been enough to just be enough. But it had to be more than enough. It couldn't just be a game that sold well. It had to be a service that continued to bring in money forever. Again.
Yep.
It just doesn't work, guys. Just sell video games. If you make a profit, let that be enough. That's all I'm saying.
Just enjoy things.
A modest proposal, make the nets bigger. Either that or a lot smaller and get rid of the goals.
Just enjoy things. Just enjoy them. It's fine.
It's okay to just be successful.
It's fine. Enjoy your Atari VCS. Enjoy your $6 billion instead of $7. It's okay. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, like $6 billion. Sure, $30 billion is great.
Oh, that'd be so much better.
$6 billion is pretty great.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. I'm not kicking $30 billion out of bed. Not for eating crackers. Not on Rex Manning.
Certainly not. Not with that attitude.
All right, that wraps up week old news, and that wraps up the second segment of our podcast. So we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to do the first 10, 20, 30, 40 of 2025. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
Capcom, Philip Summers, and NF Publishing present Hand-Drawn Game Guides Mega Man, an officially licensed strategy guide for the original Mega Man game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This massive book is filled with lovingly illustrated pages, diving deep into the world of Mega Man and strategies to defeat the original 6 robot masters before taking on the evil genius behind it all, Dr. Wily. All new mission briefing pages flesh out the story, and beautifully rendered maps plant the reader firmly in the Mega Man world. Transport yourself to a place between fantasy and reality, past and present, physical and digital. Back, hand-drawn game guides Mega Man today.
Kickstarter campaign ends February 14th, 2025. Back your copy today.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
Do you enjoy the Stone Age Gamer podcast and other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network? Do you wish you could listen to them sooner than the regular unwashed masses? Do you wish you could contribute in some way? Well, then you should check out the Geekade Patreon. Yes, the Geekade Patreon is a wonderful and very much appreciated way for you to help us pay the bills and keep our shows running week after week. As a Geekade patron, you'll get a monthly podcast topic schedule and early access to nearly every show on the Geekade Podcast Network, as well as access to a patron-exclusive monthly show called DC's Amazing Movie Time from the creators of the Weekend Rental podcast. So head on over to patreon.com/geekade and become a loved and appreciated member of the Geekade Patreon team and get early access to shows like the Stone Age Gamer podcast, this week's episode, Turning Tracks, and a whole lot more. See you there. All right, everybody, we are back, and it is time for the first 10, 20, 30, 40 of 2025. And let me tell you, when I was setting this up, I spent hours on this earlier today. I had things to do, and then I wound up doing this instead, because I'm just setting up for the year, and I realized that we missed some pretty important shit.
Did we?
We did. There were a couple of console launches that happened late last year that I just didn't have on my list because I was only paying attention to those specific platforms that we started the year with. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we missed some shit, and we're not going to go back and cover the months that we missed because that would take too long.
Because fuck you, that's why.
I've increased the efficiency of what we have, and that's what we're going to deal with. So, as a fair warning, I believe the 40 this year is going to be pretty bad. To a point.
Okay. It wasn't great last year.
It's going to be way worse this year because this is the absolute height of the North American console crash right here.
Right, yeah.
There ain't shit happening this year until the NES launch in October.
Okay.
So once the NES launches in October, things change only a little bit, because the October was the early
soft launch. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really start happening until 86. That's when NES and Master System really start to take off. So next year, the 40 is going to be super interesting, and we're going to feel super fucking old. Not that we don't already.
Yeah. I was going to say, we
little looking. We could have theoretically added a 50 to the list this year, but we're not
fucking
going
do that.
to.
Let's not do that.
Once it gets to 77, that's when I'm adding the 50. Once the Atari 2600, the original VCS launches, that's when I'll add a 50 to the list. But I think at that point we're going to be repeating ourselves, but it doesn't matter because we'll be so old, it won't
That's what we'll have forgotten.
We'll have forgotten anyway.
That's right. I don't know what we talk about.
Yeah, who knows? Anyways, let's jump back 10 years into the past to January 2015, where the previous generation is still existing, but not existing to a great degree. The PlayStation 3 had 20 releases. The only one that I found that was really worth mentioning was Life is Strange, and then there was just a bunch of DLC and PSN garbo. Same exact situation for Xbox 360. 15 releases, a bunch of DLC and Xbox Live Arcade stuff, and Life is Strange. Meanwhile,
people really like that Life is Strange game. I could not get into it. I did try. It seemed like a thing I'd be into.
They do seem like the kind of thing you might be into, but it doesn't really seem like my cup of tea.
Yeah.
The Wii and DS, no new releases. They are still active platforms. There will be new releases throughout the course of 2015, but ain't getting shit in January. And then there was the PSP, which had one new release in North America called Brandish the Dark Revenant. I've never heard of it. Apparently it exists.
I will take out my Dark Revenant anytime you ask.
Moving on to what would be considered the current generation, in January 2015, the PlayStation 4 had 16 North American releases, including Life is Strange, Grim Fandango Remastered, Dying Light, and then a bunch of DLC and PSN garbo.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, usually we'd stop and elaborate on that, but the Xbox One, also 16 releases, didn't get Grim Fandango, but got Life is Strange, Dying Light, and then a bunch of DLC and eShop garbage, while the Wii U saw 10 releases and absolutely nothing of value. Not a single game released on the Wii U of those 10 games was worth even the breath to talk about. So, January, not a great month.
Not great. I do like Grim Fandango. It's a cool game.
Grim Fandango Remastered. That's cool stuff. Yeah. Big thumbs up there. But, I heard people liked Dying Light, I think. I don't know.
I think so.
I seem to remember that game being a thing that people cared about. But all in all, it's January. It's never a big month. So, kind of slow all around.
Yeah.
Still a couple other platforms to mention. The Ouya got 3 releases. Something called Flash Out 2, 1-2-3 Animal First Grade Math Games for Kids, and 1-2-3 Animal Second Grade Math Games for Kids. So, just
in case you mastered the first one.
just an absolute banger of a month for the Ouya. The Nintendo 3DS, however, had 14 releases. 2 of them I thought were quite interesting. You got 3D Afterburner 2, which those Sega 3D classics were fantastically done.
Mm-hmm.
And Gunman Clive 2.
Oh, I love the Gunman Clive games.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Love those.
Yeah, not a bad month for 3DS there. 2 genuinely decent games. And then over the PlayStation Vita, again, because it's hard to narrow down. Well, you don't talk about it. With the exception of the Switch and Steam, the PS Vita was just home to an unfathomable faucet of garbage. There were 47 goddamn releases on the Vita. 47 releases on Vita. And the only 2 that I found that were worth mentioning were Woe Dave and Grim Fandango Remastered.
Woe Dave.
Woe Dave's kind of a fun game. It's been a while since I played it. It reminds me a little bit of Joust, like you're collecting eggs. It's a very, very Atari looking game. It's kind of fun. I had that on Wii, I think. Can't remember if it was Wii or Wii U that I had that, but I definitely bought Woe Dave. And Grim Fandango Remastered is cool. And then there's just a bunch of games in Japan, some DLC, and other random garbage. The 10, not great, but we knew this going in. We knew January was going to be a rough month because that's just the way it goes. However, if we travel back to 1995, wait, no, 2005. We're not 95 yet. Let's go back to 2005. Things are looking a little bit sexier in January 2005.
Okay.
So PlayStation 1 is officially toast. No more PlayStation 1. So we're going right to the PlayStation 2, which had 8 U.S. releases. Highlights included Mercenaries, Suikoden 4, The Getaway Black Monday, The Punisher, and Playboy the Mansion, which I only mentioned because I still don't really know what that game is. I know it exists, but I don't know what you do in that game, and I'm kind of okay with that, but I'm utterly fascinated by its existence.
Shockingly enough, don't know. I suppose that's weird for me. That fucking Punisher game is awesome. I remember so that game being pretty cool. Yeah. It's so absurdly violent. And like it came out after Garth Ennis had done his big run on Preachers. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, I think, was the artist that did Preacher. Which is a phenomenal fucking comic. Like, you want to talk about some shit, read Preacher. That shit's bananas. But then they did a run on the Punisher, and they just made the Punisher just fucking great and violent and absurd and all of those things. And then they made a video game, and it was like, what was it? You had the option to like just basically fucking torture people. Like, put this guy's face in a bunch of piranhas. Like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. That sounds awesome. You should play it. It's fucking great.
I played some of it. I haven't played
through
it.
I'm saying, the royal you.
The royal you, yes. Play the Punisher. Especially if you tune into our Trivia Tuesdays in the Discord channel. Xbox had only 5 releases, and they were Mercenaries, Torque Prehistoric Punk, The Punisher, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, and Playboy the Mansion. But this is where things start to take a turn. This is both the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance. Now, each of these platforms only had 2 releases.
Okay.
One of them was good. The other one is, like, monumental.
Okay.
The Game Boy Advance I'll mention first. The Game Boy Advance got Banjo Pilot and The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap.
Okay.
What many people regard as one of the best games on the Game Boy Advance. Whereas over on the GameCube, we got Virtua Quest and Resident Evil 4.
Oh. That game's
the system it was created for, Resident Evil 4, the GameCube version. The Wii version's probably still my favorite one, but the GameCube version is the one that I've played through multiple times and loved to death. What a fucking masterpiece. And it's still one of the all-time classics. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, we didn't really declare a winner in 2015. I don't know. Part of me wants to say it was, I don't know. There really wasn't one. I think 3DS because of Gunman Clive 2. That's where I'm going.
That's such a good game.
After
it's so
Murder
good.
and Gunman Clive, yeah. So I think 3DS takes 2015 by default. January 1995. 2005. I got to give it to Resident Evil 4 was seismic. That game was huge.
Yeah, it was huge, and the fact that it came out exclusively originally for the GameCube was just such a fucking like what really.
Yeah,
it was
a big deal, and then the shareholders were just like, "No, you're putting this on PlayStation." They're like, "But we made it for this one.
But we don't
made this for. We don't wanna. We did this. We did exactly what we wanted on the system that it was built for it. That's why that game. That's one of those things. Like, you know, when you look at Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on PlayStation 2, and you're just like, how the fuck is this a PlayStation 2? Like, it just doesn't get better than this. Resident Evil 4 is one of those games you look at on GameCube. It's like,
how did you
look
do
at
that?
this and say, I cannot imagine how this looks better. Like, unbelievable. Such a game. Now this is where we get to the first major mistake. The Nintendo DS came out in November 2004. We skipped 2 whole months of Nintendo DS. We skipped its launch and its follow-up month, which had a handful of decent games. But here we are in January of 2005, where the Nintendo DS got one release. Just one, and it was Zookeeper, a puzzle game that I barely remember.
Oof.
Don't worry, I've taken notes. I know when we'll start talking about... This is the year that the PSP and the 360 came out as well, and we will talk about them. I have notes set in place so that I'm ready to do that when those things come up. But yes, apologies to the Nintendo DS for not discussing it when we should have. And then there's the N-Gage, rounding out, still here. 3 releases, SSX Out of Bounds, Snakes, and the King of Fighters Extreme.
Okay.
I did not know there was a King of Fighters game for the N-Gage, and I cannot imagine a worse time than trying to play King of Fighters on a fucking side-talking taco N-Gage. Can you imagine playing King of Fighters on an N-Gage?
No, I cannot.
What?
I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Yeah, that's not the way I want to play King of Fighters, for being honest.
No, it is not. Is there like YouTube video footage of this? I'm so curious.
There would have to be, right?
Let's see. King of Fighters N-Gage. There it is. All right, let's see. Oh my God, there's a video of somebody. It's off-screen footage. I can't really see their thumbs playing it, but this ain't great. This ain't great.
So perfect. Best game ever.
It's there. It's King of Fighters. It's functional. It is a game that's being played. Wow. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right, so that's January 2005. Really, Resident Evil 4 is just and Zelda Minish Cap in the same month. Like, meaning no offense to Mercenaries, The Punisher, and of course Playboy the Mansion. But I don't think Resident Evil 4 and Minish Cap are getting touched on that month. That's just too big.
Yeah.
Then we go back to 1995. Now, 1995 is interesting. We also had a missed platform round here. We'll get to that in a minute. We start off the year in the arcades. Okay. In January of 1995, we got Virtua Fighter 2 and X-Men: Children of the Atom.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, goddamn. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to arcades in last year's 10, 20, 30, 40, but I found a decent enough resource to find some of them. It's really hard to nail down important arcade releases, but I was able to find a list of a handful throughout the course of the year. It's a good month right there for arcades. Children of the Atom, Virtua Fighter 2,
Yeah, it's good. That's good stuff. I'm a fan.
Very good. Love Children of the Atom. There were, as far as I could tell, no notable releases on PC this month, which means time to get to the consoles. Super NES had 13 releases. The only ones that I found were notable in those 13 releases were Clay Fighter 2, Judgment Clay, Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues, Pack-in-Time, Tecmo Super Bowl 2 Special Edition, and Mega Man X2.
I fucking love Clay Fighter. I really do.
I enjoyed the heck out of the first Clay Fighter.
It sucks.
It's not a good game.
It's not good.
But I rented that several times. Like I put time into that one.
I was big. So like, it's one of the last things that my dad bought me before he passed away. So like, I kind of have like that kind of weird nostalgic, if that's, I don't know if that's the right word, but that sort of thing with it. But I genuinely find the creativity and nonsense of Clay Fighter so fucking charming.
Yeah, that tracks.
It's such a shitty
nonsense,
game.
But yeah,
it sucks so bad.
It's
fucking
creative.
Blue Suede Goo? Come on. That's quality shit right there. That's amazing. Anyway.
Cool Blue Suede Goo.
That's fucking great. It's great. No notes.
So now let's talk about that. Like, really, that's a solid month. Jurassic Park 2 is a pretty decent game. Mega Man X2, a lot of people love that game. I think the first game is perfect, and I've never liked another Mega Man X game since. But X2, a lot of people love. There's no denying that was a big follow up for Nintendo and Capcom right there. It's a good month.
Yeah.
Sega Genesis had 17 releases. Highlights included Arrow the Acrobat 2, The Death and Return of Superman, Demolition Man, Justice League Task Force, and Tecmo Super Bowl 2 Special Edition.
Demolition Man is a much better movie than it is a fucking video game.
That it is. And I don't remember liking Death and Return of Superman all that much, and Justice League Task Force is not great.
No.
Not a phenomenal month for the Genesis there.
Arrow the Acrobat 2 is okay.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a perfectly adequate mascot platformer. Just okay.
Yeah.
But the Sega Genesis was not alone. There was the Sega CD, which had 2 releases this month, Samurai Showdown and Snatcher.
Yep. That's good shit.
Yeah. Samurai Showdown, I've never played the Sega CD version, but the Genesis version was very good, so I imagine the Sega CD one was probably pretty decent too. But Snatcher is one of those like big cult classics. Like, people really like that one.
It's a weird-ass fucking game. It's a weird-ass game. That's something we should, I don't know, maybe we'll figure out a way to, like, Twitch that or something.
I Twitch it already.
Good.
And here we get to another mistake of mine. The 32X actually launched in November of 1994. I'm pretty sure we just skipped right over that one.
That's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, the 32X had 12 releases this month.
Really?
Which is wild. Now, some of them were probably, I think some of them were just attributed to the year 1995, so like maybe they weren't November. But either way, out of what I was able to track down for 32X in this month, in January 1995, we had Afterburner, we had Fahrenheit, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Night Trap, Slam City with Scottie Pippen, and WWF Raw. Of course, Night Trap being the Sega 32X/Sega CD game, because I think Fahrenheit was also one of those that you required both the Sega CD and the 32X for. But
right,
as far as months for the 32X go, this is probably as good as we're going to get.
Yeah, but like, yeah,
it's still Afterburner on 32X is great. Night Trap is memorable.
Night Trap is a game that exists.
And then you got Slam City with Scottie Pippen. That's just fun to say.
Just who was like, you know who we're going to market a game about? One of the least fucking charismatic basketball players of all time. Scottie Pippen is so good, but no one gave a fuck about Scottie Pippen. Come on. You're on a team with Jordan and Rodman, and you went with Pippen? All right, that's fine.
Well, maybe they could afford him.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly wouldn't. See, now, I don't know if Rodman was on the team when I'm not going to look it up because I don't care. And I'm sure Jordan was much more expensive than Pippen. But still,
sure.
There were a lot of other basketball players in the league at the time that were more... That's not fair to Scottie Pippen. Whatever. Fuck the Bulls. I'm a Knicks fan. Like, what do you want? It's fuck the Bulls. And the Pistons in particular. Anyway.
Moving right along.
Your favorite sport, Kris, basketball.
Yeah, I care very much about.
I know you do.
About it.
I know you do.
It's very much my thing.
Big fan.
The TurboGrafx and Turbo CD is done in the U.S. There were plenty more in Japan, but those we're not getting any more from those platforms, and the PCFX didn't come out in North America. So we are unfortunately done with NEC for this decade.
It's a bummer.
The Neo Geo didn't have any new U.S. releases. It was still active at this point, but nothing new. And here we have another mistake on our part as the Atari Jaguar we haven't been reporting on. That launched in November of 93.
Oh,
and,
shit.
The release dates are out there. So we've missed a lot of Jaguar. It's not dead yet. There were no new releases this month, but we will be reporting on Jaguar games this year as part of the 10, 20, 30, 40. Blanket apologies to all of our Jaguar fans who felt underserved.
I mean, the amount of emails I've personally gotten about
just telling you to fuck off just for your mistreatment of the Jaguar.
It's been kind of like I wasn't sure I was going to do the podcast this week. If we're being completely honest.
Hopefully this makes up for it. Hopefully this brings back some of the angry people.
It won't. There's such monsters.
We will be covering the Jag CD, which launches in September. You got several months before we get there, but we will be covering it. 3DO had 3 releases this month: Return Fire, Theme Park, and Shanghai Triple Threat.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound vaguely racist at all.
This 1995 is going to be a super fun year because we've got upcoming in the next couple of months. You've got in May the Saturn launches, in September the PlayStation launches, in August the Virtual Boy launches. And then Jag CD in September for all that's worth. But this is going to be a fun month. We've got several system launches coming up, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Then we have on the handheld front, the Game Boy had 4 games: Breakthrough, Casino Fun Pack, Daffy Duck, The Marvin Missions, and Micro Machines, whereas the Game Gear had 1 release, Legend of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, and then there were just a ton of releases for this year, but with no month attached, so I'm not really going to bring them up because I have no idea where to put them in context.
Sure.
And then the Lynx had 2 releases this year, and that was it. These are the last 2 releases for the Atari Lynx. I don't know what months they were in, but since there's only 2 for the year, I would mention them here: Battlezone 2000 and Super Asteroids and Missile Command.
What a weird little system the Lynx is.
Yes, it is.
It's a weird little fucking thing. It's
Atari
cool.
at this stage in their history was genuinely strange, but
yeah,
well,
yeah,
there it is. Yeah, nothing really jumping out. Of course, the Illusion games with Mickey Mouse have a big following, but really
those are fine.
Micro Machines on Game Boy was a pretty fun game, but nothing that's just really, yes, this is the shit right here.
Well, and like you said, I mean, that is very, very typical of January's past.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil 4 is such a huge outlier as far as massively big, important games being released in January.
Yeah, same with the new freaking Zelda game on Game Boy Advance.
Minish Cap too, yeah.
Way to just miss the holiday season, but
yeah, whoops.
Here we are. Anyways, it's time to go back to January 1985.
All right.
So, arcade, no notable new releases that I could find. PC saw King's Quest II, Romancing the Throne.
I fucking love the King's Quest games. I really do.
There were no Atari 2600 releases. There will be no Intellivision releases until October. It's still cooking, but nothing in 85 until October. Again, we are at the height. This is the dregs of video games in North America.
Yeah.
The Atari 5200 only had 1 release for the year, as far as I could tell, and that release was in April. So we'll talk about that come April. The NES doesn't come out till October. There were no Game & Watch games. Meanwhile, the ColecoVision, undaunted with 6 releases. It's a desert everywhere, but the ColecoVision's like, nah, fuck it. 2010, the graphic action game, Cabbage Patch Kids Picture Show, Choplifter, one-on-one basketball, Root Beer Tapper, and Up and Down.
I mean, fuck you. I love Root Beer Tapper, and I love Choplifter.
I don't remember how those games were on ColecoVision, but I imagine they were just fine.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't specifically remember them on ColecoVision, but I am positive they were fine.
Choplifter looks pretty good. I'm watching a video of it right now. That looks like Choplifter. So, hooray. What's Up and Down? I wonder if that's related to Bump and Jump. That game had a bunch of different names.
Yeah.
What's Up and Down? Oh, so it's not bump and jump, but it is a like a top view racing game. Oh, This is adorable. It is a racing game where your car can jump, but it's definitely not bump and jump. You're like going on these diagonals and jumping over cars and hitting flags.
Cool.
Yeah, that looks cute. I've never heard of this one before. That's kind of neat.
All right,
Drive
so
your Baja buggy over treacherous miles of deadly motocross track.
I will. Here's an idea. Is this something, and I need the listeners to respond. So join the Discord. Tell me if this is something that we would be interested in. Does anyone care or want to see a game-by-game breakdown of the ColecoVision? Because that is some stupidity that I can get behind. And once my hand is good enough to like type effectively, that's something I think I could write about. So if anybody wants to see that, let me know. Or just say it's a bad fucking idea and I might do it anyway. But, you know, like if you're interested, let's see. Because I think it's an underserved platform and under-discussed platform. I think. I could be way wrong, though. Maybe I'll play a bunch of the games and be like, no, this was shit. Never mind. I'm glad it's dead. 4-year-old me was a fucking idiot. What did I know?
Thundercats is not a good show. But if you remember it being a good show, keep it that way.
Yeah. I like Silverhawks better.
That wraps it up for the 10, 20, 30, 40 of the first 10, 20, 30, 40 of 2025. And that was fun.
Yeah, clearly, coolest thing we talked about this evening was King of Fighters on the N-Gage. Because, fuck, dude, why? Why would you do that?
Good Lord.
Why?
Love it.
Why? Just, who greenlit that fucking project? I don't know. You think we could? Let's fucking find out. Let's try.
It's definitely gonna sell. It's definitely worth the effort.
Let's put money and research behind this. Jesus. Oh, man. Think of how far fucking gaming on the phone has come. From the N-Gage to, like, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters are just readily available on your phone. That is a fucking leap. Anyway.
Oh, goodness.
Take me home. I'm drunk.
That is our show. Join us next time for the next stop on the SAG Cartoon Express, Darkstalkers, Season 1, Episode 10, Samurai's Honor. I wonder if Dean will be joining us. Who knows?
I hope not.
Who can say? Who is to say? We're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. Help keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making this show listenable for all you folks. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. We'd also like to thank him for accidentally posting the show super early so that our patrons got it later than everybody else. That's it.
Suckers.
On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.
Buy my moccasins. Suckers!